What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button because that's the most important thing you can do for me on this channel. What it does is that helps make sure that those who are subscribed to the channel will indeed get their notifications, and it also helps to push this video through the YouTube algorithm as well. Secondly, if you're new to the channel, or maybe you've been ghost watching this channel for quite some time now, please do me a favor and yourself a favor by hitting the subscribe button as well as the bell notification next to the subscribe button so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. And lastly, please make sure you share this video out on your social media platforms to your family and friends to inform them on this news and information. And yes, that does help to give me a slight boost in the YouTube algorithm also. And with the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news. Today, we are headed over to Fox News Studios, and we're headed over there so that they can help assist me in discussing the new polling numbers that have come out from the New York Times, showing and displaying that Donald Trump, yes, indeed, is surging past Kamala Harris in the polling. Now, I think we all have known for quite some time now that the recent polling, ever since Kamala took the place of Biden, was a little bit, to say the very least. It looks like now you can only BS for so long until the truth starts coming to light, right? Concerning the polling and where Donald Trump actually stands. So let's get into this clip right quick, and then we're going to break down and explain a couple of other things as well. So let's jump into this first.
Well, we begin with brand new polling showing former President Trump pulling ahead of Vice President Kamala Harris. Maybe a sign that her momentum has stalled. New York Times Siena College poll shows Trump leading Harris by 1 point in this super tight race. And the new polls show Trump also remains popular with a 46% approval rating. That's big. Better than where he stood in either of his last two presidential campaigns. And this poll is being called one of Trump's most overlooked advantages. Voters see Trump as closer to the center than Harris, and nearly half of all voters say that Harris is too liberal or progressive.
Let's stop there. Let's please stop there. Voters are looking at Trump as being more to the center than Kamala Harris. I repeat, let me say this again. Voters are seeing Trump as being in the center. Let me explain that to you very quickly, why that is. This is something that I've talked about, I think, on a handful of occasions, not too often. And I know this is something that, a friend of the channel, Rob from Black Light Revelations 2, he's talked about on his channel. Me and Rob are good friends. We partner up on on my second YouTube channel and on his YouTube channel as well. We collaborate all the time. Good friend of mine, good friend of shows, right? Me and Rob don't agree on anything, right? We don't agree on too much of anything. But the things that we do agree on, we come together based on that. As it pertains to politics, Rob, by and large, is very much so liberal in a lot of his beliefs, right? He's liberal in a lot of his beliefs. Me, on the other hand, I'm more of a, you can say, conservative traditionalist, you can say, right? In my beliefs. But as it pertains to Democrats and Kamala Harris specifically, let's keep it on her. The DNC and Kamala Harris, they are so far left that when you make common sense statements like the border should be closed and we need stronger border security and that illegal immigrants should be deported, as Rob would say on his channel, common sense statements make you appear to be on the right. That's how far left these people have gone. So you'll listen to a stream by Rob on Black Light Revelations 2, and you'll think to yourself that you're listening to somebody who's politically aligned with TD, but he's actually not. He's not, in some regards that we are, but in many regards we are not. But listening to him, you would think that, because that's how far left the DNC has gone. That's how far left Kamala Harris is. She's so far left that common sense statements make Trump appear to be in the center. And that common sense statements make people who are liberal look like MAGA. That's insane when you're that far left. But I don't want to belabor the point too much. What I want to do next, right? What I want to do next is that I just want to go into the actual New York Times article very quickly because I want to highlight a few things in here. So here's the New York Times article with the polling that is being referenced here, that was referenced to in the Fox News clip. The title reads as such: Trump and Harris neck and neck after summer upheaval, time Siena polls find, right? The survey finds that Donald Trump is retaining his support and that on the eve of the debate, voters are unsure they know enough about where Kamala Harris stands. That's something that's very interesting and that needs to be highlighted, right? Trump is doing very well and literally is surging, where Kamala Harris has, for the most part, plateaued, right? Let's get into it. Let's get into this here. As you can see here, Trump holds the lead 48 to 47. The first paragraph reads, former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris enter the home stretch of the campaign in a tight race. And with their only scheduled debate looming on Tuesday, Ms. Harris faces a sizable share of voters who still say they need to know more about her. All of this campaigning from the basement that Kamala Harris was doing, all of this stuff she was doing about trying to run a campaign on zero policies with having nothing on your website other than a donation link, that's all coming back to bite her in the butt. Refusing to do press conferences, refusing to do unscripted interviews. It is all coming back around to bite her in the behind. So much so that from what I've been told and informed, I haven't verified this for myself yet, and this isn't the biggest thing in the world. Well, I guess it is if you're Kamala Harris, right? Because you're seeing how this is coming around on you. Apparently, Kamala Harris has finally put her policies up on her website. I haven't verified that for myself just yet. I'll let you guys inform me in the comment section below. Obviously, I'm going to go look that up when I get the moment to. But she's finally put, policies up on her website because she has to. She thought she could run a campaign from the basement and never have to pop out and show her face unscripted, but that's clearly not the case. A national poll of likely voters by the New York Times and Siena College found Mr. Trump leading Ms. Harris 48% to 47% within the poll's 3 percentage point margin of error and largely unchanged from a Time Siena poll taken in late July, just after President Biden dropped his reelection bid. Mr. Trump may have had a rough month following the president's departure and amid the burst of excitement that Ms. Harris brought Democrats, but the polls suggest his support remains remarkably resilient. Why is that? Why do the polls suggest that Trump's support remains remarkably resilient? It's simply because of the fact, and it's literally a fact, that historically, as it pertains to Trump running for election and in reading the polls, the polling consistently underestimates Donald Trump literally every election, which leads me to believe that in a lot of these cases, when these polls come out, they're oversampling Democrat voters or would-be Democrat voters, even when they're claiming that these polls are from undecided voters or independent voters. You get what I'm saying? The polls have consistently underestimated Donald Trump every election. When they polled during 2016, by the time we got to the election, Hillary Clinton had a 5-point lead over Trump. What happened in 2016? Trump spanked her, got her out of here. Then you fast forward to 2020, the polls suggested that Biden had a 9-point lead on Trump. What happened? Biden barely won the election by the skin of his teeth, barely squeaked through. And if you ask me, there might have been a little bit of that 2020 magic in play. If you don't know what the 2020 magic is, ask somebody in the comment section. They'll let you know below, right? But now here we are. And as far as polling is concerned, we've seen polling that suggests that Kamala Harris is up by 3 points, right? Well, if she was up by 3 points, she was still behind Biden and Clinton. and what they were when they went up against Trump. So if you're up 3 points only at the time, and Trump beat Clinton, who was up 5 points, and barely lost to Biden, who's up 9 points, then what that tells you is that once again, the polls consistently underestimate Trump, to which what we can expect come election day, Trump is going to blow past Kamala Harris. And now with the polling showing that Trump is actually in the lead, and you factor in the reality that polling consistently underestimates Trump, and in his underestimation, he's still in the lead, that spells blowout. That spells blowout. And I think that maybe that's what we can expect to see. Now, we don't want to start counting our chickens before they hatch, right? So it's extremely important that people still show up in November. A lot of times what happens is that you'll see polling like this and you'll say, it looks like Trump got it in the bag, so I won't show up and I'll just kick back. And the next thing you know, it's Harris Walz 2024. You still got to show up and play your part in November. But to be honest with you, it's looking more and more like this is going to be a blowout. This is going to be a blowout, and that Trump is going to run away with this election. But let me know what you all think in the comment section below. That does it for today's news. Please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Share this video on your social media platforms. And also don't forget to follow me on Telegram and Rumble. That is extremely important. As I always say, that is extremely important that you follow me on Telegram and Rumble. Both my Telegram and Rumble link will be pinned in the comment section as well. Thank you all for your time, and until the next video, peace and have a great afternoon.